You've flown missions in war zones. What's the one moment where you thought, I may not make it out of this?
I had to pick up the phone and dial my wife's number and say, please contact the UN because we've just been kidnapped by the rebels.
What inspired the shift from the high-risk operations to building a luxury aviation brand?
It's not a life you want to continue living, especially with kids. I mean, you're never at home. So the whole drive was family, actually family-oriented.
What's something about the luxury aviation world that most people get completely wrong?
Number one, I would say from the owner side of you is that they think it is way out of their reach.
What's the most outrageous outfit that someone wore on board?
I mean,
Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Celeste. I'm a certified image consultant, and I help entrepreneurs, speakers, and influencers really discover and master their own unique style so that they can command presence in any room that they walk in. Today, it's really special because we are at hangar number 7 in Henderson, Nevada, and we are on location today. So I'm excited to get into speaking with our guest. So let's dive into today's episode. He's flown through war zones, led life-saving missions, and now leads one of the top luxury private jet companies in the world. Today's guest is Breydon Blignaut, award-winning pilot, aviation expert, and founder of Jetstreme Aviation. With over 20 years of global flight experience, he's gone from high-risk missions to high-level success. And he's here to talk about how purpose, precision, and confidence can take your life and business to the next level. Welcome, Breydon. You've flown missions in war zones and now manage million-dollar jet assets. What's the one moment where you thought, I may not make it out of this?
Well, that moment was the moment when I had to pick up the phone and dial my wife's number and say, please contact the UN because we've just been kidnapped by the rebels. And then they saw me on the phone and they grabbed my phone. And that was the last time I spoke to my wife. So that moment I thought, okay, here we go. So at least I made the call, but that was the moment. And to elaborate on that, they took us into the jungle. This was in the Central African Republic. They kidnapped myself and all my crew, and we went into the jungle to their base where they had basically their prison. And I managed to escape, and my crew weren't that fortunate, but I at least escaped. So, but that was the moment when I picked up the phone and phoned her and said, phone the UN. This is where we are. This is what's happening.
And so how long before you were able to escape?
Time-wise, I think it was about an hour and a half because we drove maybe about 20 minutes into the jungle to their facility, and then they started searching us and looking for all our valuables. And the only reason why I basically could escape is because I had my cards on me, my United Nations card and the Red Cross cards, actually all my identification, and I spoke a bit of their native language and a bit of Arabic and French. So I could speak to them. So they said I must go to the side, and then they took the rest of my crew because they had no identification on them. And they took them one side. And as they did that, I just escaped.
Wow.
Ran into the bush.
Oh my God. What was going through your head at this time?
Just where do I run to? And let's just keep on running. Luckily, I was pretty fit that time. Still fit now. But I ran a lot. So I was more running fit. And I just ran. And I kept on running and kept on running.
And did the UN come to your rescue?
They did. And in general, some of our crew weren't that fortunate, but a lot of things happen in Africa. A lot of things that, can't disclose to everybody.
Right.
But yeah, fortunate enough to be here. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
That was the one scenario.
One scenario. Okay. That's for another podcast, I guess, right? So from that moment to coming to the States, how long was that before you were like, I need to get out of doing this very dangerous job?
Yeah, I know it, and that wasn't the whole motivation and drive. It was part of it.
Yeah.
Being in the war-torn areas, doing a lot of good, adding a lot of value. I mean, that's been my whole life motto, is adding value and helping people. But to a certain extent, that got a little bit dangerous. Although South Africa is also quite a bit dangerous on its own, just going to the shop. But besides that, when an incident happened in South Africa, we decided that this is enough. We need to get out. And from that point, to answer your question, it was about, I would say, 6 years from that moment where we said, no, we're done with this.
Okay.
And then we left, packed up all our bags, literally left everything, and just came to United States.
And Viva Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas. So that was the first point of contact for us.
Okay. Okay. So I have a question for you. I know we kind of chatted about this, but you've flown missions that most of us could barely imagine, like we just discussed. But
Sure.
what inspired the shift from the high risk operations to building a luxury aviation brand?
So whilst I was actually doing these missions, I was involved with a lot of high-end clients as well in between, where I was also facilitating and coincident running my own company based out of South Africa. So I've always done that part. But the whole drive and the motivation to really break free was just it's not a life you want to continue living, especially with kids. And when you're never at home. So the whole drive was actually family orientated. I mean, you need to be a present parent. And that was the main drive. And also to safeguard my life, to be there to see them grow up. So that was it was about, I would say, 8 to 9 years that I actually did that. And it was a whole 12 years that I did all these missions. And it was just enough. I mean, seeing your kids only, let me just rephrase that, but from the beginning, I mean, there was no real communication. So the areas that I used to fly in back in the day, you didn't have communication. The only communication we had was when we get home and we had to log into a little BGAN. That's a satellite device before Starlink, before everything. Right. And where you could send emails and a few photos just quickly on your per email. And to phone costs, how can I say, such a large amount just to phone. So the contact was very limited in the beginning. And now these days, I mean, you can video call, FaceTime anybody. So you're really there, but there's nothing like being present. So the whole drive behind everything is just to be physically present.
Better life for your family.
Exactly.
Yeah. Daddy needs to be around for...
Daddy does.
Yeah.
And I was very blessed because, and still am, my wife kept everything on the go. And she was basically the strong hand throughout these 12 years that I was doing it. But now it's enough. Yeah. Now we're here adding value on a different scale and a global scale and really making sure that people get the benefit and really don't get messed over in the aviation space. I've been through a lot and been able to add value in that aspect to make sure that other people don't make the same mistakes or fall into the pitfalls and traps where other people may guide into.
So you're here to re-educate.
Exactly.
The space of private aviation.
Exactly. And educate in that aspect is to add the value to not really what they want and perceive to want, because lots of sales and consultants, and they would sell you a jet or give you a service not really that you need for your brand or for your company or personally, but rather what fits their pocket. And that's where we are different. We really cater for your need and what really suits you and ensure that that's tailor-made and fit to your whole company or you as an individual. So we cater for that whole aspect.
Yeah, that was one of my questions of what makes Jetstreme Aviation different from other brands out there. And could you elaborate just a little bit more on that aspect?
Yeah, so I think in general what I find happens is that guys want to make quick sales, a quick buck here and there, and then they end up selling aircraft to clients that they really don't need or that they don't need for the operation. It's either too big or too expensive, so the price point is too high. And that's what makes us different, is that not only can we get the right aircraft and the right fit for you, it's not really what you want in the sense of let's say $50 million jet. What fits your company or your profile better could maybe be something a little bit cheaper because of where you fly and what you do. So we look at the whole cost dynamic around everything and tailor make and fit that to your company. And then we manage the pilots, we manage the mechanics, we manage the aircraft, the maintenance. We do the whole circle, the whole turnkey solution.
Okay.
So that's what I think makes us different.
Okay.
And really caring from the heart.
Right. Yeah, that's really important too.
It is. You don't find that these days. These days it's all numbers driven more so, and just to see how much they can make.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably refreshing for even clients that have been flying private for some time and then they find you and use your services.
We get that a lot.
Yeah.
So we get it a lot where they've been messed around or been paying too much or whatever the case may be, not just happy. And we find that there's a lot of the clients that we take over.
Okay. So can you give me the step-by-step process if a new client is coming to you for the first time from, I'm interested to a flight?
So a few different aspects. So number one could be, let's say the client would like to purchase a jet. So he would like to purchase a jet because he flies to XYZ destination X amount of times per month. We would then sit him down, look at the different types of aircraft that fits his need and where he flies to, and specifically how many times he flies. So we would tailor make the whole aircraft for him or fit the few aircraft and present him with these airplanes, and also see, does he exclusively just want to use it by himself or would he like to charter it out? Because at the end of the day, the option that he has is to charter it out with us. And by that, he gets extra revenue. And at the end of the day, he could offset the costs to his own self or his own company, where he could have a break even and also make profit. So that's what we aim for, is to at least break even for him and then to make a profit possibly. So ending up flying for free. So that's the one client. The other type of client is guys who don't really want to own an asset. They don't want a jet. They just want to fly whenever they want to fly on demand. They could then buy hours. So they buy 10 or 50 or even 100 hours per annum. And then that is X amount of price that they get the benefit of the tax write-off. And that is on demand. Wherever their location is, we pick them up and take them to wherever they want to go. And that's also tailor-made for them. So we'll find out, where do they fly, which routes, and what do they prefer? Do they prefer a small, medium, or large jet? And then that's where we'll sit down and also custom and tailor make that package for them exclusively.
Okay. So it's a kind of a membership, or
So that's the membership program.
Okay.
And that's also a newer thing that we are launching more. We've been doing it on a different scale, but now we're going to officially launch that as well within the next few months to come.
That's exciting.
So it's going to be a great membership and anybody can join.
And how many jets do you have?
The moment that we manage around about, I would say 8 to 10.
Okay.
I would say 8 to 10.
That's a good amount.
And but there's many more. There's so many coming in and out that we do ad hocs and ad hoc flights. But what we have and the clients that we currently have is it.
Okay. So so this is going to be launching in a few months.
Yes, the membership program is going to be launching. We have done it on a different scale where we assist clients and give them these membership platforms, but we'll be officially launching that as a membership program where you can join part of it and actually buy into it. Okay. So for now, it's just a one-on-one consulting and more intimate management and package, where now we'll be actually launching it as a program that you can buy into.
That's exciting. What's something about the luxury aviation world that most people get completely wrong?
Number one, I would say from the owner side of you, is that they think it is way out of their reach. That's something that is not unobtainable, because there's many ways to own a jet. There's many ways to fly luxury. So I would say the main thing is, by owning a jet is out of your league. If you think about it, it's way too expensive. And I've heard this many, many times with even high net worth individuals saying, no, it's too expensive. And then we actually sit there and say, it's actually not, because we do in-house financing, small deposit down. And from there on, your aircraft generates revenue for you, and that bringing it all back to basically break even. So it's not that expensive, and it actually doesn't cost you anything at the end of the day. So I think that's one of the biggest things, I would say, is people thinking it's way out of the reach and it costs you a lot of money. If it's managed correctly and have the right staff, it actually makes you money at the end of the day.
That's so smart.
It is.
But I don't think a lot of companies tell you these things.
No, because it's a lot of work. It's really a lot of work to try and get that and accomplish that at the end of the day.
To have the turnkey solution that you offer your clients.
It is. It's easier just to take somebody on to manage his jet, and that's it. You, the owner, you're in charge of all your expenses, and this is the expenses. There we go. But instead of trying to facilitate and help your client where you can actually save money and make money, that's what puts us apart.
Yeah, I love that. That's like it's so business smart, like you said. It's what, a tax write-off?
Exactly. Exactly.
Anything, how can we save money?
Exactly. With the bonus depreciation coming in again, I mean, it's going to go to 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then worst case, he breaks even. Best case, he makes money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
think
we
it's pretty
planned for.
smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's my G650ER?
It's just around the corner if you look out there. Right?
Because it's right
Is
there.
that your back? There we go.
It's the exact plane too.
That is it.
You guys, I have this on my vision board, so it's happening. It's here. He said it's right around the corner.
It is. It is. You can take it to go view it as well.
Yes. All right. Pictures to come, guys. Stay tuned.
And next time we'll do the podcast in flight.
Yeah. Oh God. Yes, that's what he was saying.
We should do that.
So you work with high net worth clients, investors, entrepreneurs, and how does private aviation shift the way they do business?
Yeah.
And how much of that comes down to one simple truth: time is money.
That is so true. Just the connection. I mean, if you have to think about the normal way of travel and just private travel, that the time versus money is you can't, how can I say, you can't equate or compare that to one another. If you travel normal airlines, you spend 6, 7, 8, 9 hours traveling, let's say to X destination. Private travel, I mean, you can literally, from the moment you could be on your phone or working, drive in here, stop next to your aircraft, get on the jet, connect to the Wi-Fi on the jet, continue working, do your calls, fly to wherever you need to fly, still making your calls, and land and get in the next one into your board meetings. It's continuous work if that's something you need to do. Mm-hmm. And also the time it takes and it saves you on travel is just exponential.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It is.
Especially if you're like, time is money.
It is. And it's not just about, well, you can think about going through TSA.
Right.
You've been through TSA numerous times, I suppose.
Yes.
And it's completely different. It's worlds apart.
So, after 2001, yes, forever changed.
Exactly.
I love that you show people, though, the difference. Like, you talk about someone who flies first class. Oh, I have the luxury of, flying up front. Well, there's no really luxury anymore. I mean, the only one that I felt was Emirates, or one of the higher end where you're like, okay, I have a private suite. I'm flying that far. But you still go through all of the things, right?
You still have to go through it. So you can get the TSA pre-check and so on, but you have to go through all of that.
Right.
So
this eliminates all of that. So I just would like to really talk to that person, and more specifically me, because, I'm moving into that space, but there is that misconception around that it's not affordable, or that it's so out of my price range at the moment. But the way that the way that you structure this business, it's absolutely false.
Exactly. It is, especially from a business side of view. So private owners, clients who high net worth individuals, it's super easy to help them and to change that mentality as well, because we still have that. We have clients who are super wealthy and who would literally not want to fly the private jet just because it's a little bit more. And so we're still changing that mentality and helping them and guiding them to show them basically you could buy hours, which is a lot less into this package. And that's why with this program that we're going to be running, it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah. I'm excited for that, because I want people to understand that that's a possibility, right? I work with some celebrities, some influencers, but entrepreneurs mostly. And so, this is such an asset to have for them in their back pocket.
It is. And we do so many flights to and from Vegas, LA, all over California. We do such short hops and short flights. And we have the correct aircraft for the job that is cost effective and inexpensive.
Yeah.
And some of my super, super high net worth individuals fly on those smaller planes. They do these small hops the whole time, and you would never think that. You would think that person of that stature would only fly a Gulfstream, but they don't, and that's what makes it so accessible to everybody.
Okay. You've built strategic partnerships with elite clients.
Yes.
And institutions. So what's the real key to earning trust in such high stakes environments?
It is proof. Do the work first. That's how you build trust and relationship. And I started from the bottom many times, especially coming into America as a newbie, fresh off the boat, having to start from the bottom and prove yourself again. And relationships is going the extra mile. If we're just talking about clientele, is how do you win the client? And it's by winning his trust. Is by the proof is in the pudding at the end of the day, as they would say. So you can talk a good show, but can you really deliver it? And that is where you start by numerous things, but it is building the trust through, it could be pricing what they've had before, showing them and being clear and transparent with everything. Because I think also that is where clients in general get misled, is they do not have all the facts. A lot of clients don't want to know the facts, but talking about building the trust, for example, we had a client that we took over, and beforehand they were getting charged X amount for maintenance and X amount for charter. And coming to us, they told us about this pricing, and we were like, that's not right. So let us show you. So what we do is we open and transparent. Hey, this is the amount that we're getting billed from the third party. That's what you're going to pay. We're not going to put something on top. So what the other guys do is they get maintenance done from a third party, and then they put their 10% on top. And then that's what they bill their client. But it doesn't get seen. So it's hidden cost. And being open and transparent and clear, that's what builds your trust with your client, to name one. And then for myself as well is actually flying the clients. A lot of my clients want me to fly them. And like I was telling Jesse, my partner, that I don't really want to put myself into the flight deck anymore, because I'm find that I have to fly so much at the end of the day and keep everybody happy, that I'm never in the office anymore.
Yeah.
But yes, that's how you build trust, is really being authentic, someone they can rely on and depend on, and being open and transparent. And through that, you really add the value, and then you're different. So, yeah.
So is that one of the values of your company?
100%.
Yeah.
110%.
And people come back and they return as a client because they see that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's good business.
It is. It's, I always say life is actually easy and business is easy. People complicated.
That's good.
So don't overcomplicate it. Just do what you need to do, and be transparent and open, and do good business. There's enough business for everybody to go around, and just do it the right way.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's only one way, and that's the right way. And you see it a lot in any form of business. People taking shortcuts or doing quick things here, quick deals. It works for the moment. Yes, you can make a good turnover maybe, but there's no longevity in business, in that way of doing business. And that's where we are different. I mean, and that's why I build strategic partnerships like Hangar 7 and my company. We work together because the ethics, the morals, we all aligned. And also with Porsche. So Porsche is a very good strategic partner of ours on the marketing side, because they're such good and genuine people. So we really choose our people wisely, and who's in our circle. Let's call it that.
I think that's why I was drawn to you guys for sure, because that is the basis of my company and my business is trust, credibility, like authenticity, and really bringing, and that luxury piece. Because I think, and we talked a little bit about it yesterday, people think of luxury as expensive or luxury as more tangible, when I think of it as it's how you treat your customers.
Yes.
It's how you bring the extra, making their life more comfortable.
Exactly.
So,
and luxury, it doesn't start, it starts by how you treat somebody and how you feel about yourself as well. And clothes is one thing. I mean, clothes and cars, anybody can go buy clothes and get a car. So, but it's much more than that. Having these partners is just showing you the outer realm of it. But everything that's inside is what's really important.
Yeah.
And then that's what we strive to do, and just continue doing that. Just be great at what you do and be a good person.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see
Yeah,
the future of this business, and this I'm sure won't be our last interview.
it won't. And I'm excited to have you on board with one of our flights.
Yes, I'm excited
I think
to get on that G650. I'm sorry, I want the Big Daddy, guys. I'm not sorry. I'm really not. So, no apologies here. But I have one last question for you today, and so let's just talk about style for a minute. So, whether or not you're, flying celebrities or meeting them or high net worth individuals, or maybe it's not someone that's famous. Do you dress a certain way for each client, or do you know who it's going to be and you dress a certain way for that particular person?
Yes, in general, presentation, meeting somebody for the first time, you have to look on point. You have to be on point. So in general, but more than anything, be who you are every day, more so. Because putting up a front to somebody and just dressing great the first time you see them, when you do business with them and later on they see how you really are, that's not authentic to yourself. But first impressions do last, especially clientele, if like crew members. Crew members have to be on point. Just to move that, I had a thing that I wanted to create the perfect pilot in the sense of the look. Everybody has to be ripped and jacked and built, and they have to look good in their uniforms, because it just brings a different type of environment to the flight deck and to the clients, the passengers, saying, this guy looks good, he invests in himself, he will know, and he must know what he's doing. In the sense of, if you look good and you train hard, you have some sort of respect for your own body. And in turn, it's your mind and your body and your wellness that equates to that. So not to veer off the subject too much, but presence is, and the way you dress and come forth is very important, obviously. But then lots of our clients, or some of our clients who are wealthy billionaires, they come in their shorts, and to them it really doesn't matter. They just help themselves to some drinks, Coke or whatever it may be. They don't need any catering. They don't need anything. They're just simple, and they don't mind what you wear and how you are. They just want to get to where they want to go, and they just want to know they're going to get there safe. So it doesn't really matter to them. But in general, in this space, you have to look presentable, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Look good. But we need some tips from you there. I mean, definitely.
Well, I like to say, it's one of my slogans, image is currency.
Yes.
And so it's either opening doors or keeping them closed.
Exactly.
So especially in a space like this, people need to build that trust and credibility with you.
Yep.
And so I imagine, you're going to put your best foot forward.
Yes. You're not going to walk in with a ball cap and your pants hanging on your knees.
Let's hope.
The test net.
You're like, maybe I shouldn't take this jet with this person.
Exactly. But we fly a lot of rappers, a lot of artists who, just like that, they have millions and millions and millions.
Right.
And that's the way they look. That's their brand. So how can you, it's not, you're not judging, but yes, to get back to your question, you have to be presentable, because people are trusting you with literally their money and their lives.
Right.
Yeah. So just look the part and be the part, but you have to be authentic. Exactly. And once again, that's where it comes into being authentic and genuine.
That's key.
That's key.
Awesome. What's the most outrageous outfit that someone wore on board?
Most outrageous outfit somebody wore on board? Being naked. I mean, but once I was flying the plane and looked back, and the people were naked. Where the first officer had to go back and ask them, please, can you put on your clothes? We didn't have a cabin attendant in that flight. But we've had, on one of my flights that I personally did as well, looking back and seeing the people actually having a go at it, like doing it in the plane, trying to draw in the mile high. And where, like at that stage, it was such a high-end client, we just ended up closing the doors to the cabin, and we just let them be and continued flying.
So is there a hygiene issue?
There is a very big hygiene issue, and normally if we get requests, like my partner got a request for everybody to be naked on the plane, they obviously decline it. But when they're in the jets at the end of the day and sitting at 40,000 feet or so and get naked, I mean, there's not a lot you can do except ask them to put their clothes back on. but there's some crazy requests that and things happen on the flight as well, from rappers literally sitting in the plane. So we're sitting in the jet. This is when I was flying, and feeling the jet do this bobbing motion, starting to do this porpoising, and it's super strange for a large jet to start doing this. Looking at and going to the back and seeing all the female doing booty shakes and doing all these booty shakes and dancing on the jet and just going crazy, like literally on the seats, because they don't care. They're on the seats, standing on the seats, and just going literally crazy because they bring all these boom boxes, if that's what you call them, these speakers, the portable Bluetooth speakers, and they just go crazy in the jets.
So the jet was literally...
It was literally doing that from them jumping up and down.
Wow.
Yes. So we've had some interesting experiences, and then they get a hefty bill afterwards for cleaning.
Oh yeah,
But
I'm sure that doesn't come at it comes at a cost for sure.
yes, that definitely comes at a cost.
Was there anything that I did not ask you today that you would like to talk to the audience here? And if not, it's okay too.
No, I think that in general, that people should feel free to contact us. If they feel that they've wanted to fly private and they don't know enough about it, feel free to contact us. Chat to us about it. If you're flying from California to Las Vegas and you take JSX as an example, or flying any other airline, let us know. Contact us, because it could be something that is not unobtainable. We could create you a package and put you on one of our programs.
Okay, great. And now where do people find you?
They could find us on our website, Collaboration. So our joint venture is my company. I was Jetstream and Hangar 7. So they could find us on any platform. And we also on Instagram and
Perfect.
various other social media platforms.
I love it. Well, thank you, Breydon, for taking the time
Thanks.
to sit down with me and
I appreciate it.
talk about your company.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Celeste.
you're welcome.